Life can change in a single moment. For Ella Martinez, that moment came on a busy Tuesday afternoon at Friendly's fast food, where the smell of French fries filled the air and the sound of sizzling grills created a constant background noise. Ella stood behind the counter, her name tag slightly crooked on her wrinkled uniform. Dark circles under her eyes told the story of sleepless nights spent worrying about hospital bills and upcoming rent payments. At 24, she carried the weight of responsibilities far beyond her years. "Order number 47, she called out, maintaining a cheerful tone despite her exhaustion. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. "Always treat others with kindness, mija. It costs nothing to be good to people." Her mother, Maria, lay in a hospital bed across town, fighting a battle against stage 3 cancer. The thought made Ella's throat tight. 3 weeks had passed since the diagnosis, and the medical bills kept growing. Their small savings had vanished like morning dew under a harsh sun. The lunch rush was ending when Ella noticed her. A small figure approached the counter, so tiny she could barely see over it. The girl, no more than 7 years old, wore a faded blue dress that had seen better days. Her dark hair was tied in uneven pigtails, and smudges of dirt marked her cheeks. But it was her eyes that caught Ella's attention, large, brown, and filled with a mix of hunger and hope. In her small hand, she clutched a single quarter, holding it like it was the most precious thing in the world. "Excuse me." The girl's voice was barely above a whisper. "What can I buy with this?" The question hit Ella hard. She knew that feeling all too well. Memories flooded back of her own childhood, when she and her mother had survived on food bank donations and discount bread. The shame of poverty never quite leaves you. Ella glanced at the menu board. The cheapest item cost $5. She looked back at the girl, noticed her trembling hands and the way she shifted from foot to foot. This child wasn't just hungry, she was starving. The restaurant's policy was clear: no free food, no exceptions. Mr. Clark, the manager, had fired 3 employees last month for breaking this rule. Ella needed this job desperately. Without it, her mother's treatments would stop and their small apartment would be gone. But sometimes rules matter less than doing what's right. "Of course, sweetie," Ella said warmly. "That quarter will get you our special meal deal." She moved quickly, preparing a children's meal with extra chicken nuggets, fries, and a small cup of milk. As she packed the food, she added a chocolate chip cookie, the kind she wished someone had given her when she was young and hungry. The girl's face lit up like a sunrise when Ella handed her the bag. "Really? All of this?" "Really," Ella smiled. "Enjoy your meal." "Thank you." The girl clutched the bag to her chest. "You're like an angel." As the girl turned to leave, Ella's heart felt lighter. But that feeling didn't last long. "Ms. Martinez." Mr. Clark's voice cut through the air like a knife. He stood in the doorway to his office, arms crossed, face hard as stone. "My office. Now." The next few minutes passed in a blur. Words like policy violation and immediate termination fell like hammers. Ella tried to explain, to defend her actions, but Mr. Clark wasn't interested in explanations. "Clear out your locker," he said finally. "You're done here." That evening, Ella sat in her tiny apartment, staring at bills spread across her coffee table. The room felt smaller than usual, the walls closing in with each passing moment. Her phone showed 3 missed calls from the hospital's billing department. A knock on the door startled her from her thoughts. Opening it revealed a well-dressed man in his early 40s, with kind eyes and graying temples. Behind him stood the little girl from earlier, now clean-faced and holding a white rose. "Hello," the man said. "I'm Michael Hayes. This is my daughter, Emma. May we come in?" What followed was a conversation that would change Ella's life forever. Michael explained how Emma had run away after a fight, how he'd been searching for days, sick with worry. The food Ella gave her had convinced Emma to return home. "You didn't just feed my daughter," Michael said, his voice thick with emotion. "You brought her back to me." Then came the surprise that left Ella speechless. "I own Hayes Technology Solutions," Michael continued. "We're expanding our team, and we need someone with your kind of heart. I understand you have a background in computer science?" Ella nodded slowly. 2 years of college before Mom got sick. Perfect. We offer full training, health benefits, and flexible hours. Would you be interested in joining our team? It wasn't just a job offer, it was a lifeline. The following months brought changes Ella could never have imagined. Hayes Technology Solutions wasn't just a workplace, it became a second family. Michael arranged for her mother to see top oncologists and helped set up a payment plan for the medical bills. Ella threw herself into learning, discovering that her passion for technology hadn't dimmed. She started in customer support but quickly showed an aptitude for coding. Within 6 months, she was working on actual software projects. Her mother's condition improved with better care, and slowly, the weight of constant worry lifted from Ella's shoulders. Emma became a regular visitor, bringing drawings and stories to share. The white rose she had given Ella that first night sat in a vase on her desk, replaced with a fresh one each week. 1 year later, Ella stood in front of a group of new employees at Hayes Technology, sharing her story. Sometimes, she told them, the right thing and the hard thing are the same thing, but kindness has a way of coming back to you. That evening, as she drove to pick up her mother from her final chemotherapy session, Ella remembered the frightened girl she had been, standing behind that fast food counter. One small act of kindness had created ripples she never could have predicted. The next day, she started a company initiative, Hayes Helps. The program provided meals and technology training to underprivileged youth. Michael supported it fully, saying, "Sometimes all people need is a chance." Emma, now 8, had appointed herself the program's junior ambassador. "Everyone deserves a helping hand," she would say, echoing words she had heard from her father and Ella. Life wasn't perfect. There were still bills to pay and challenges to face. But Ella had learned that kindness, even in the darkest moments, could light the way forward. Her mother had been right. It costs nothing to be good to people, but the returns are priceless. As Ella wrote in her journal that night, "Sometimes we think we're making a small choice, to help or not help, to be kind or look away. But these small choices can change everything. They can change us. They can change the world." Her story spread through the company and beyond, inspiring others to create their own moments of kindness. And somewhere in the city, behind another counter, another person faced the same choice Ella had faced that day. The cycle of kindness continued, proving that sometimes the smallest acts can create the biggest changes. Ella's journey from fast food worker to software developer wasn't just about career advancement. It was about the transformative power of compassion. Today, Ella keeps a small framed photo on her desk. It shows a white rose and a quarter, reminders of where her journey began and the power of choosing kindness, even when it seems costly. Her story teaches us that success isn't just measured in dollars and cents, but in the lives we touch and the difference we make. In a world that often seems cold and uncaring, Ella's experience reminds us that one person's kindness can spark a chain reaction of positive change. As she often tells the students in the Hayes Helps program, your circumstances don't define your future. Your choices do, and choosing kindness is always a step in the right direction. This story is a reminder that in our fast-paced world, we sometimes forget the impact a single act of kindness can have. If you were moved by Ella's journey, consider how you might create your own ripple effect of compassion in your community.